All right, guys, welcome back to Airborne Outdoors. I am your host, Zach, and this is, as promised, that little first aid kit in the butt pack of the Bugout Bag Kit 1.0. We had a look at that first aid kit, and I recognized some shortcomings. Need to add some items into that kit. So we're gonna work on that, and we'll get into that, and we'll look at when we bust into that bug out bag again next time. But here's that little survival kit in there. I may upgrade this into a larger tin that can be used as a pot and obviously hold a lot more items. But for now, this is just my little survival kit that I have in that butt pack. A couple band-aids, or not band-aids, a couple rubber bands. Pretty heavy set. I have seen some guys way back in the day pick up a tiny little rock, hold a rubber band just like this, sneak up to a robin and whap them enough to make them roll over with their wings, and they run up and grab them. So this is definitely savable and usable. Has some other applications as well, but little mini slingshot and holding this kit together are two that come to mind quite obviously. All right, now keep in mind I do have a full loadout when I'm carrying this kit. This isn't an independent kit. I have a small first aid kit in the left arm pocket of my bearskin tactical hoodie 4.0 right now, and so that's part of my EDC. This is not. So we're just gonna see what we have in here. Let's just dig out the top lid. We just have another bug repellent. And I always think of this bug repellent. I always think of the story of that Boy Scout that got lost for a few days and had very limited supplies. Had hardly nothing. He knew how to survive off the land. He made a little shelter. He drank water off of the vegetation. And when they interviewed him after he got home and was surviving, they asked him what was one thing he would want, and he said bug repellent because he got eaten alive when he was trying to sleep at night. So anyway, we got that bug spray. And this is no particular order. This thing is about... I got it pretty well organized, packed. I'm almost a little bummed out to have to take it all out of here again, but we're gonna do it. So we have the they're kind of like the Yuko Stormproof matches. They're not quite as good, but they're an offshoot of that. I think this was from some other first aid kit, but it has 7 good matches in there and a striker. So you know, if you think about it, that'd be one good fire a day for a week, or a couple fires for a few days. Most of my kits like to have some zip ties. These are pretty small, maybe not as useful, but as far as like little lashing, just lashing small sticks together for different reasons, whether making a small trap or part of your shelter. I mean, having a dozen of these, having 100 of these would be nice, but having 100 of them can help you out and get you going in the right direction. Small roll of duct tape. So many applications. You got to just throw it in that little survival kit. See if we can keep this categorized looking. Small little tube of super glue. I got the lid in here somewhere, but we're going to put that over here with the zip ties and the duct tape and the super glue. Might as well bust this bad boy out. Just a mini Bic. Got it wrapped in micro paracord, so decent functional mini Bic. Get your fire going, and a few feet of cordage there. That might even be 5 feet. I didn't measure that. If you don't know how to tie these, maybe I'll make a video on how to tie these on here. Well, I could too. It's packed in this kit, so I'm not too worried about it. But these little zip ties would be the perfect size to get underneath that depressor and zip that to not be able to waste the gas in storage. But I've had this thing in different cases for quite some time, and it's still totally full. So have my little Olight here. I always keep the battery upside down in these because they just always get turned and come on. But this is a great little flashlight. Doesn't have any other options as far as low, medium, high strobe or anything. Just has on and off. But it is just a 1 AAA. And if you look at my other bag, I have a whole pack of AAAs. So this could be, used many, many times over. Super bright. I think it's only a couple hours of burn time, but plenty to get your shelter set up at night. find your way down the path, getting back to camp at night or whatever. Lighting option, gotta have it. Small roll of thread. I think this is this number 69 thread. I'm not like some expert on thread types, but I'm pretty sure that's the 69. I have this button compass in here, and I can get it to point north just because I know which way is north, but it's pointing north right now, but I have a feeling this would be almost useless in the field just because I just pointed north twice. But just because I had it on a flat surface, if you just take it out and hold it, yeah, I can't even get it to move now. So I don't know. I might ditch this. Might upgrade. Although there's not a ton of room in here. But there's an option. If you keep playing with it, you might be able to get it to point north. A couple. There's two. I actually have four. Just Aquamira water tabs. In my area, talking about water storage, when I go wandering around, because I'm close to the Minnesota River, and I just go wandering down there, the water goes way high and, like 10 feet higher than normal and then back down in the course of a year. And so garbage gets spread all over the place. And there are water bottles, water containers. I mean, I found buckets yesterday. 2 days ago, I found like a whole plastic bin. There's just stuff that could be used in a survival situation all over the place. And those water storage or those water containers could definitely be useful. And if you're worried about them being contaminated all that much, and it's like, well, I'm using them to decontaminate water, so it would definitely work in a pinch. Just a small loop of wire, probably enough to make one trap. There's rabbits and squirrels all over the place around here, ducks and geese, deer, turkey, pheasant. There's crazy amount of game around here, but like rabbits, I could for surely see myself scouting out where a rabbit comes and goes and looking at their trails and then just throwing a snare up there, and I'd probably trap the thing in a matter of hours. Nice big sail needle for that thread. Oh, here, I kind of threw this in last minute. I was digging around for my other items. You're going to see I have another cutting option in here, but this is my first little option for a cutting tool is the Spyderco. I think this is bug or maybe ladybug. It looks like there's a little ladybug on there. God, I think it's the Spyderco bug though, but no, maybe it's the ladybug. I think it's the smallest one they have. It's just tiny. But it would work to cut some thread, cut some micro cordage, pieces off there. So it has some functionality, but yeah, it's tiny. It's part of a tiny first aid kit. My favorite little micro star flash signal mirror. Very useful tool. Some people keep these in their pocket as part of their EDC just because they're aware of what has been done with these in the past, and these have saved people many times, and they've been used for centuries. A couple safety pins. Throw that over there with the kind of all our repair items. Oh, there's the lid I was looking for earlier. So this has the opener in there, so as soon as I screw this on, it opens it. And then you have a little dispenser, and then that's about it. It's pretty much garbage after that. So you just keep that off until you need to use it. But hey, some super glue can come in handy. My favorite little whistle, I bought a pack of these. I don't know, it was only a 2 or 3 pack of them off of Amazon. But this thing is just feather light. It must be aluminum or something. I know they make the titanium ones like this, but it's just that light, and it is incredibly loud for how small it is. And hey, don't underestimate how useful it can be to make a loud noise in a survival situation when you're shit out of luck and you're broken leg or whatever, you're lost. This can definitely help you get back on the right track. Kind of just threw this in there because I had it. I don't know if it's the biggest deal of a first aid, or I mean a survival kit item, but it is just a small nail clippers, which, oh, I don't remember how to open this thing now. You just slide it. Getting your nails clipped in a survival situation. Oh, it's got the hook on the end. That can be useful. You know, keep them trimmed down so that they don't get dirt underneath them and you don't get some infection, and keep clean. And so that can be, and just to pass the time. Then you pull this out and clip it back. Yeah, so that's a true utility. I think it's true utility. Nail clippers. Okay, this is kind of my little fun survival item. You know, people put decks of cards or books or something. I just got a couple small dice. And I'm into wargaming and board gaming and such as those type of things. And I can imagine myself, you know, just finding some rocks and sticks and twigs and mapping out, you know, people make like chess boards, but maybe just to make like a little war game board and have some dice to pretend to be battling, or just even have them to barter with people or to gamble with people, to play craps, just to throw some dice. Small, easy, lightweight, pretty cool, I think. This is just the small tweezers I bought. I think I bought this off of Temu. Handy little heavy duty tweezers can really, like, and look, I'm picking the skin off of my thumb there. So that's nice to really get in there. You know, you get a bad sliver, you know, between that nice big needle and that tweezers, you know, you can really get some action done. Small chunk of tin foil. I think this is 1 foot wide by 2 feet long, and it's like, it said heavy duty, but it seems more just standard tin foil. Has some uses. Of course, people talk making a container out of it, but any little hole in your knot making a container out of it. But it could be done. You could make a container to purify some water with the tabs or boil water. Some other uses as far as patching and flagging and you know, hanging it up on the trees as a trail marker type thing or whatever. Some tin foil. Here's my other my main cutting tool category that I threw in here. I had a larger Swiss Army knife in here at first, but as I kept loading it out, I just went with the standard SD because of the space limitations. So just another blade. You know, if you look at that Spyderco Bug, it's not much longer than that. It's actually thinner. But so you got a couple small blades in here. You're obviously not processing wood, or probably not even making a trap out of this. You could, I don't think so. But yeah, using it for first aid applications and cutting rope and things like that, helping you set up your shelter. So on the one, we just got the knife, and then we got the file and the nail cleaner. So between that clippers, you got your clippers, and then you got your file, and then you got your cleaner. You know, you can really keep your hands clean, which can go a long ways in a survival situation to keep yourself sanitary and not get infections in your fingers. And a small but decent scissors as a backup scissors for that first aid kit, especially, you know, cutting some bandages. And this kit, you know, clipping off some zip tie ends, clipping a rubber band to make a better slingshot. You know, if you wanted to split this into two and have each one of them be, and put a pad on the end. But anyway, just your standard Victorinox SD Swiss Army knife. Have that small tweezers in there, and you know, people underestimate this toothpick, man, because I've a couple times in my life, but one time especially when I was in the Army, I was in my 20s, and I got something stuck in my teeth and my gums that was just brutalizing, killing me. And I could not for the life of me get it out, and I didn't have any kind of toothpick, and eventually I got my toothbrush and I just scrubbed the hell out of it and was able to get it out of there. But when you need this, you need it. And I just think it's great to have with you in a survival situation, especially. So add that to some of the tools. Getting down to the bottom of the kit here. just a few. I think I have 4 of these. Just those mini glow sticks. Again, marking your trail at night. We did use these where you would break them and put them in your mouth and then open your mouth just wide enough to see out and to read your map at night to not be detected. Because I was a forward observer, so we're always using our maps to call fire missions with our mortars and artillery and stuff. But you know, put maybe break one of these if you're in a group. You break one of these and strap it to the back of your helmet or your hat or your head. And everybody does that, so you're moving at night in single file, and you can easily follow the guy in front of you down the trail because the back of his head's lit up, and then the front of his head isn't because you might be moving into enemy territory or some, you know, things like that. Marking the trail around, like if you're gonna wander off at night because you got to go do something. Maybe bust one of these and hang it up somewhere near your camp, so you can much easier find your camp find your way back at night. So a few of those. Decent little ferro rod. Maybe we can use the back edge of that. Yeah, that's a nice. Let me see if I can get some of this. Yeah. Wow, the back edge of that Spyderco, it has a really good edge, and that works great for this little ferro rod. Well, I'm realizing now as I do this that I don't have any tinder in here, but we can remedy that real quick and just put a chunk of tinder in here. This is one of the reasons I love to go through these kits, because they just help me realize what I forgot. And then at the bottom of this kit, you know, assuming I got separated from my pack, because I have the mini SOL survival manual in my pack. That's back at camp, and now I'm scouting out 5 miles away and got disoriented, and I'm not going to be able to make it back to camp. And having a little guide to just remind you. Of course, you can read over it 100 times while you're at home still and learn about, you know, hunting, trapping, foraging, navigation, self-defense. Which, speaking of self-defense, I highly recommend everybody go out and take some boxing classes or some jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is awesome, and I took it for a very, very long time. But like in a survival fight, when life is on the line, I think I'd rather be a pro boxer than a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Just to be able to just one punch knock somebody out and just one hit, you know, one just quick hitter, one hitter quitter, and get the hell out of that situation. Crisis prevention, bugging out and staying home, some first aid, danger zones, first aid prevention, shelter. Some of these things, like this page here in particular, like I'm lost and the sun's going down, and I realize, hey, I'm gonna have to hang out here for the night. Just right here we have shelter, fire, and water, because like I always say, food is just not even an importance. You might be hungry, but if you ever did any fasting like I have, that hunger goes away whether you eat or not. If it's dinner time, you're gonna be hungry. If you eat dinner, you're not hungry. If you don't eat dinner, you're also not hungry. And then by the second day, and for surely by the third day, the hunger just goes away, and you're better able to focus on more important things like getting water, getting that fire started, shelter. So I can just quickly pop this up and be, okay, here's a little poncho shelter. Well, I got a poncho in my butt pack, so let's use that. Or here's a way to set up a little plow point shelter with my poncho. And then maybe I'll get in that emergency blanket. So I'll have the poncho as the roof and the blanket over me. Here's a way to just set up a little A-frame tarp with some of the shelter options I have. How to build a little debris hut. Little lean-to here. Little raised bed. All necessary skills that we should be practicing. How to lay out your different fire lays. How to get your bird's nest going. How to make and use and this is something I'm very guilty of I've never used a bow drill. I took a 2-week survival class in the military where we went out and lived off the land and trapped, and I, ate bugs and wood and learned how to just hang out. I mean, it was mostly just boredom. I mean, a survival situation, if you're not dying, might be the best thing to just sit down and shut up and not die. Here's some great reminders of like how to collect water with vegetation in a bag, how to boil it, collecting it, like using my tarp, using my poncho. I could lay that out and collect the water in the middle, maybe drain it through the hood and drink it through there. And a little primitive water filter, setting up a tripod and putting layers of like bandanas and stuff with dirt and rocks and debris to filter the water. Just different ways to get what. But anyway, there's no reason not to have this in a first aid kit. And of course, I always bring up the Fresnel lens, which, yes, I thought people were mispronouncing before. They don't pronounce the Z, but apparently that is the correct pronunciation. It is not Fresnel, it is Fresnel. And anyway, I need it. I needed to see the lettering on this thing much, much better. But also could start a fire during the day. I mean, if it's so hot and sunny that you can start a fire, you're probably not dying of cold anyway. But you could be. There's some cold winter days where it's beaming sun. So, and we're coming up into winter in Minnesota here. So let me know what you guys think. It's so limited what you can put in one of these small kits. I want to just show you what I'm thinking about upgrading it to, because I think I can get it to fit, because this first aid kit fits in the bug out bag standing up like this. So that means this can will also. It's a little smaller anyway. It's a little narrower than like the Best Glide ASE Ultimate Survival Kit 10, which I've done a review on my own little homemade kit of one of those. But this kit, I mean, I can obviously get all this stuff in there, and then another 3 times more stuff, and also have a cook pot, to collect water, to boil water. And I think this would be just such an advantageous item to have itself that, yeah, I'm gonna seriously look into reorganizing that butt pack into its own little scouting standalone kit, kind of based off of what I got in here, because I have stuff in there also in the kit, in the butt pack, that I could have just had tucked in here also, like some lighting, like a headlight, the small Petzl, things like that. It could have just all been in here and in the butt pack and ready to rock and roll. So anyway, guys, that's it for this small kit. We got fire, we got water, we got some repair and some tools, fire, lighting, couple signaling items here. These can be what really saves you too, just whistling for help and signaling for help, if that's the situation you're in. And getting that fire going can always be what saves you. Even if you don't build a shelter and you just lay down and go to sleep, having a fire going next to you is going to be, especially if you know to make it like 4 feet long, like maybe dig a small trench, even 4 or 5 feet long, the length of your body, so that when you're laying next to it, it's covering you. Could even be 2 people, one on each side of it, and then just have some 4-foot tinder, some logs ready to throw on there throughout the night, and you're good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. That's the Survival Kit 1.0 in the bug out bag, and still critiquing, still building up to that ultimate kit. Whether what we do from here is going to really depend on. I'm hoping you guys will help me out, and I got some advice on the other video as far as my my food options in my bug out bag, and talking about, I had 3 humanitarian relief daily rations in there, humanitarian daily rations. So it was 3 days of food for one person, and somebody chimed in and said, hey, take them out of that package and strip it all down. One, because there's like extra spoons and stuff in there that we might not need, but also just the air and the volume of the bags themselves. So that could be a great idea too, to maybe pack those down into like a 1-gallon freezer bag. I bet you I could get all 3 of them damn near in there. So stuff like that, guys. I hope you'll comment on the video, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We got a couple, 2 or 3 more subscribers, so we're up to 65, or we're pushing 70. So I hope you guys will subscribe to the channel and share the channel and like the channel and comment on the videos. Gripe, bitch, complain, thanks, and put a thumbs up, put a thumbs down, do whatever you want to do. Help me out. Say what we can add or subtract. Should we switch to this bigger kit? We probably need to look into the whole butt pack situation and how does this incorporate with that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is Airborne Outdoors. My name is Zach, and I'll catch you in the next video.